Good evening, Ohio. James Ernest of the Grueling Truth here with professional wrestler Bryce Cannon. Bryce, thank you for joining us.
The pleasure is all yours, and to you, it's the frat boy, Bryce Cannon. So get it right next time I come on the show, all right?
Sorry, frat boy. My bad. What sports did you play growing up?
I'm sorry, what was that?
What sports?
Sorry, it's coming in weird again.
Oh, no worries. What sports did you play growing up?
So I was an avid swimmer. I played lacrosse, but I don't know if you're trying to write a book about me or what, but I'm not sure what all the personal questions are about so far. But just know that the sport that I'm dominant at, the sport that I'm good at, is professional wrestling, and you'll see that if you look me up on YouTube, Facebook, any of my social medias, you'll find out that wrestling is the only sport that you need to worry about Bryce Canton in.
Okay, and just wanted to ask. A lot of times, wrestlers have backgrounds in other sports. They've done other things that transition into their career. Speaking of that, your transition. Where did you go to college? How did you transition in from there to the pros?
So I went to college in Boston College, which is lucky because the initials for Bryce Cannon are BC, which is phenomenal. You can see pictures of my jacket. It's bedazzled out. I've got the BC logo.
Ooh.
But I did that, and then I just didn't like what I majored in, so I was like, man, what am I great at? And I was like, being a star. I didn't want to be a movie star like everybody else, so I chose a profession that I followed as a kid, and that was professional wrestling.
So what fraternity were you in when you were up there at BC?
Once again, are you trying to write a book about me? What's up with all these personal questions, man?
Oh, man, I wanted to find out what fraternity so I can hear how awesome it is and I can pledge. I want to be in the same, heck, if it's good enough for you, it's got to be really good, right?
Well, just speaking with you in this short period of time, we would definitely not accept your pledge. I would haze you for fun, but definitely would not accept you in, brother. You would definitely not be grandfathered in. So continue on with that. So
you mentioned your passion for professional wrestling. What were your early memories of professional wrestling? Who did you enjoy watching?
As a kid, young Bryce Cannon, I loved to see Rey Mysterio, the Jeff Hardys, but I was also a very heel-driven person. I'm not sure why I gravitated to the bad guys, but guys like Chris Masters, I love them. And then my main guy, the man that I try to image myself somewhat after is The Miz. That is the man who's given me the most influence, the most creative ideas I've kind of pinged off of what The Miz has done. So, like I said, memory-wise, though, would be just as a kid, I used to jump on the trampoline with my brothers. We'd always end up starting wrestling matches just based off of what we saw off the TV. And I remember my first pay-per-view I ever watched was a WrestleMania. I want to say it's 24, where Morrison did the backflip off the turnbuckle with the ladders. I'm not good at numbers, so it could be one way less than that. But that's probably one of my main memories is that backflip. And I was like, man, that's pretty awesome to do. I can't wait to do that one day. And look at me now. I am the star that Georgia has waited for in professional wrestling. There's so many big names out there, but Bryce Cannon is definitely going to be the biggest name that Georgia's ever seen.
I was going to say, you got me feeling old when Chris Masters is your earliest memory. Gosh, it feels like he just wrestled the other day. Actually, he did. He had a really good match at the Independent Wrestling Expo.
Yeah, I was actually on a show with him last weekend.
Oh, sweet.
Which was pretty cool to kind of see. I don't mark out for a lot of people, which I'm sure a lot of you don't even know what the word mark means, but definitely kind of marked out to myself just seeing him, hearing that entrance music hit, just seeing in my head the Chris Masters I saw on TV was right in front of me, We didn't have pyro at the show or anything like that, but that's all I saw in my head was when that music hit.
So who trained you?
I I actually got trained by a gentleman named Marvelous Michael Stevens. Got a little tongue-tied sipping on the White Claws over here. But Marvelous Michael Stevens, I trained at a little place in Fort Valley, Georgia, called AWN, All-Star Wrestling Network. Trained with him for about a year and a half, and then started working shows at AWN, which gave us a lot of character work, because the booker, his name was Matt Hankins. He's the one who really gave us smaller guys a chance, which was super awesome. You know, getting in this business is one of the hardest things that you can do, but with the right people, the right help, you can actually, get to where you want to get. And there's a group in Georgia called Undeniable, Matt Hankins, Shane Marks, and Brian Blaze. I give those guys major credit behind the frat boy and what he is today. If Brian Blaze wouldn't have told me, grab 2 pop collars the next time you wrestle, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. But I am happy that those guys were an early stage of my career. But now I just kind of go around to different schools. I've gone to Underground. I went to Good Brothers Dojo a couple of times. I've trained at Robert Gibson's school up in Douglasville, Georgia. So I just like kind of pandering around and finding different schools to go to.
So who are some of the people that trained with you? Not the people doing the training, but like the other students.
So no really big names, but I mean, we've got guys down here that Indy's my tag team partner, Eddie Honcho, the Pillsbury Playboy. Me and him travel up and down the road. I mean, week to week, he's been with me through the start of everything, so me and him are a tag team called the Frat Party. I've trained with guys like Landon Hale, Zach Mosley. He's been on NWA. He's been on Raw, SmackDown. I've trained with guys named D-Money, Skrilla the Great. Just a bunch of like small names that have made an impact with Georgia, also even Logan Creed. Logan is actually one of the guys that I give credit to my career too, because I took one training session and went with Logan to a seminar for Francisco Ciatu down in Florida, and that was before I even had a character or what I was going to do, which it's not even really a character. It's just me bumped up to 10, So, and I give Logan credit for that because they gave me like the fire inside of me to, continue this. That I blame that one session right there for the career that I've had, because without that, I wouldn't have had a fire lit under me.
So yeah, Logan, I agree with you. Awesome guy. We had him on the show before. Was a great interview. Now you mentioned Francisco. So what role has he had in your career? Have you learned stuff from him?
Oh yeah. So it's kind of funny with Francisco because everything's come full circle here lately. So like I said, I did one training session, maybe took 3 bumps, and then a couple of my friends were going to a seminar in like Super South Georgia, where Francisco was going to be leading the seminar. So I went, and like I said, all the other students that were there, they had already had matches. They'd done shows with names and stuff. Some of the guys were being trained by Jay Lethal, and I'm just this kid over here just getting into the business. Like, what have I gotten myself into? And it ended up being a WWN tryout. And from what I've been told is that if I would have had experience, I would have won the tryout to be in WWE and get a contract.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that's what I mean by the whole fire situation. But so with the positive words from Francisco and everything like that, fast forward a year and a half later, COVID hits and everything. Well, I rode down to Florida with Logan. Let's see, I want to say August maybe.
Uh-huh.
And we did a show and Francisco was there. And, I just bumped into him and was like, hey, man, I bet you don't even know who I am. And he goes, oh, I know exactly who you are. He's like, I'll never forget you. And so that was kind of like, oh, wow, like I'm recognized. And he watched my match, said good things about my match that I had there. And then come a couple months later, Larry Otto starts running shows again. And Francisco's been booked on there. We did Talkin' Shop-A-Mania together. Like, it's just crazy. Like, I even said it to him whenever we were filming Talking Shopomania 2. I was just like, man, it's crazy. Who would have thought that the little kid from the seminar that you did that had no career behind him would be sitting here doing an international pay-per-view with you, you know? So it's just cool like that. But Francisco is just like an open book when it comes to knowledge, man. He's got everything. He's been in the business a while, so there's tons to learn from him.
Oh, definitely. And the cool part is he's actually our next guest. We've had him on before when he his movie first came out, The Journeyman, and we're excited about having him on now for Lariato Pro Wrestling.
Oh, yeah. And, I mean, yeah, Francisco, he's a great guy, funny guy. One of the funny stories that I have about him, when he was doing a show in South Georgia with me, and he was in the main event, got knocked out, and he was just laid out in the middle of the ring until everybody cleared. He was still laying there. People had already cleared out the ring. It was just the workers and everybody, the staff of the wrestling show still there. And he's still laying out in the ring. We're like, hey, man, we got to kind of get the ring taken down, you know? And so he made us, like, gimmick him out of the ring, and I took him to the back, and he's just in there talking out of his head like he's still, you know, gimmicked out and whatever. So, yeah, but Francisco, man, y'all should pick his brain whenever you have him on. Definitely.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I was going to say, it sounds like, I mean, with his wealth of experience.
Yes.
So, tell us about Fallout. When is Fallout? What is Fallout? How can we see it?
So Fallout is going to be happening this Saturday, October 10th. I can't keep this calendar straight with COVID and everything, but October 10th, Dublin, Georgia. You can see it on Impact Plus, which is where Bryce Cannon will make his name. I've already had some appearances on there, but you can see the frat boy, you can see Crazy Steve, EY, Francisco Siatsu, and many more names, and Lariato Pro Wrestling Guild's talent on Impact Plus. But Fallout is, I mean, it is what, you know, the name says. It's a Fallout. I mean, I'm not even sure who I'm going after or going to work in the ring, but it's a Fallout. I kind of hope that I work Laser, because last time we were in Dublin for a little spot show, man, he dropped me with 3 Scorpion Death drops. Boom, boom, boom. Crowd just ate it up. I can't stand that Dublin crowd. But I hope that I get to work in so we can have our Fallout, where I can leave Laser just lying there in a puddle of his own sweat and blood in front of all of his family and friends of Dublin, Georgia, just so they can see what the frat boy can do.
Yeah, I was going to say, he would be a perfect match for you, yeah.
Oh, yes, exactly. But whoever I do get in the ring with, that animosity will be put towards them. And I guarantee that. Because I hold grudges. I know most people are like, oh, I'm too good to hold a grudge, yada, 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 I'm goody-goody. No, Bryce Cannon holds grudges. And that grudge is for Laser. And whoever he puts in that ring with me, oh, it's over for him. They're going to get the Fallout that Laser should be getting. But definitely check it out on Impact Plus when it airs, or come down to Dublin, Georgia. I'm not even sure what the venue is. It's an ag center. Find your way there. GPS is a thing unless you're poor and don't have a cell phone, which is probably most of the people here, so, or listening to this podcast. So definitely check us out. And there's also other Impact Live tapings that Lariato Pro Wrestling Guild has done, so check them out as well.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, Lariato's got a great lineup of wrestlers. I mean, I know one of the times we had the Koloff Dynasty. We've had, of course, you mentioned Laser, the Good Brothers. I mean, they have some. Oh, Eric Young's going to be at this event, isn't he?
Oh yeah, Eric Young is our heavyweight champion, the Lariato Guild heavyweight champion.
Okay, what
a role model that guy is.
That explains the poster, because that was throwing me off. I kept seeing the poster, and he had 2 belts, and I was like, why does he have 2 belts? I know he's got the Impact belt, so he also has the Lariato belt?
EY 2 straps, that's right. He beat Laser, thank goodness, and Micah Taylor in a steel cage match last time we were in Dublin. Nice. Laser just couldn't get the job done. Been working for it for over a year trying to beat Micah Taylor for this belt, and he couldn't get it done. EY came in and just saved the day for everybody. It was a beautiful sight just to see Laser there. I mean, Laser was covered in his own blood and everything. It was phenomenal.
Just like Francisco, I can imagine EY is one of those wrestlers that you want to learn from, because he has pretty much done everything in the business.
Oh, Exactly. I haven't gotten a chance to pick his brain. I mean, I try to stay out of the way of those guys just because I know that when I'm in the mindset of having a match, I'm focused on the match. I'm focused on my opponent. What kind of vicious attacks that I'm going to be doing on these people, And so I just don't want to get in that way. I don't want to be the one to get hit with whatever they're thinking of at that time. So I just stay out of the way until after the match. Then that's whenever I do my conversations and everything. But definitely look forward to picking his brain one of these days.
Now, you mentioned you trained at the Good Brothers Dojo. What's that like? Tell us a little bit about that.
So it was actually super cool whenever I went. They were working on fundamental drills and foot placements and stuff. So a bunch of the key stuff that some people just don't think about in professional wrestling. They think that it's just, you're going to step in a ring and rub bodies with someone else. It's more than that. It's learning where my feet need to be up during a collar elbow lockup. It's learning where I need to be during this move. There's so much that goes into it that people don't realize. And then also it's good to go to places like this, even whenever you're experienced in doing shows, just because sometimes you forget where you came from, So learning the basics is always a good refresher whenever you're going somewhere. Unfortunately, whenever I went, Gallows wasn't there just because he was with New York, as they call it. So he didn't really have that much time to kind of swing in or whatever. But the trainers that he had whenever I did go, they were top notch. Definitely did some cardio drills, 500 squats before we would do, the actual training. So definitely a grueling training session, but hey, that's what it takes. No pain, no gain is what I've always heard.
So tell us why Lariato Wrestling is the best in the world.
Oh, you cut out right there.
Oh, no worries. Tell us why Lariato Wrestling is the best upcoming wrestling in the world.
So, do you know who you're doing an interview with?
Bryce Cannon?
It's the frat boy Bryce.
Oh, man, I forgot. My bad. You did say that at the beginning.
You forgot. You're just like the rest of America, and you're... I'm not going there. But that is why Lariato is the best.
Because of you?
Bryce Cannon is on the roster. Anytime I show up, the lights get brighter, the crowd gets louder, the cameras turn to me. I'm the star of the show. Also we've got guys coming in from Impact, which helps a lot. It brings more people to see Bryce Cannon. But Bryce Cannon is, I'm the main focus of Lariato Pro Wrestling. Whether I'm in the first match, whether I'm before intermission, after intermission, or main event, the people come to see Bryce Cannon. Yeah, we've got guys on the flyer with bigger names than Bryce Cannon, but originally when they show up, they're going to be like, oh, I like that guy. So that is why Lariato Pro Wrestling Guild will be the best next thing coming to professional wrestling.
Now, I understand the fans and the crowd, a lot of them are wearing your merch. Where can we get your merch?
So you can get my merch at ProWrestlingTees/Bryce Cannon. And then you can also hit me up on Facebook, Instagram, at @RealBryceCannon_. I can send you one personal. I always keep some on me. At the shows, I've got more than I have online. I've got frat paddles, I've got stickers, I've got Super Jaw Indie cards, which is kind of like a trading card that they've actually got a game out now with multiple people. So I've got all types of merch. I've got a couple of shirts out. Of course, I've got the White Claw inspired shirt. That's the newest one. We're working on something else now, but that's the main spots that you can get my merch is on Pro Wrestling Tees, and then if you, of course, come to a show.
Excellent. So now, when is this show? And one more time of where can we watch it if we can't make it?
Okay, if you can't make it, which if you're too poor to buy gas to come to this phenomenal show to see Bryce Cannon, you can watch it on Impact Plus. But if you want to spend the money, your well-earned money, come see Bryce Cannon at Lariato Pro Wrestling Guild presents Fallout in Dublin, Georgia, October 10th, this Saturday.
Excellent. Thank you, the frat boy, Bryce Cannon, for joining us on the show today.
It's about time you got it right. Once again, the pleasure is all yours.